Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from Astrolada.com, and these are your November 2023 video horoscopes for each of the 12 signs, with an intro talking about the world events as well. And I've been looking forward to talk about this month because there is something very important happening this month, which is Mars and the Sun are joining together. This happens once every 2.2 years. And as you'll see from my presentation, it actually determines some of the most important tasks and problems that humanity and the individual person will be working on for the next 2.5 years after this conjunction. So we'll cover each of the signs and what it can mean for the world. And also another very good news that I have is that Saturn is turning direct. And that's good news because certain karmic or complicated situations or situations that were stuck will start moving forward, will start unfolding, will start having resolutions. So this is exciting. Just before I start, I want to let you know that my 2024 video horoscopes, 2.5 hours for each sign, you can pre-order them already for 30% discount. They will be released in November, but anyone who pre-orders will get the 30%, and you will be sent on the date of the release on the 17th of November your specific videos on or bunch of videos, ascendant, sun and moon, whatever you choose. And also my 2023 astrology calendar, which I've been doing for 5 years now, and it's very successful with all transits for the year, when planets become visible and invisible, the meaning of all transits, the meaning of all new moons and full moons. They're not specific for you, they're general, but you have like a calendar. It's the 120, 50 pages usually every year, and it's interactive. So you click on the date and it takes you to the meaning of that transit and the events that are happening then, so you can plan your year ahead. But now let's go to this Mars Sun conjunction. First, I'll speak a little bit about the world. Why is it so important? Because the Sun Mars conjunction shows where our biggest battles and fights and our biggest breakthroughs are happening for the next 2.5 years. Let me just remind you, in 2019, towards the end, the Sun and Mars met in Virgo. So what happened for the next 2.5 years? Virgo is a sign of sickness, illness, taking care of your health. Well, we had a pandemic. All the efforts, which is Mars, of the world and all the bright minds, the sun of the world, were getting together to solve this issue or to mess it up, whatever. So that's what happened last time, the time before last. Then the next 2021, towards October, Sun and Mars met in Libra. And it meant that for the next 2 years till now, the theme was very different. It wasn't, so that's when COVID hysteria started dying out and the cases going down and the lockdowns going down, but a new set of problems appeared, which was Libra to solve. So what happened? Libra is one of the signs of peace and war, or lack of peace. Then we had the eruption of the war in Ukraine. And what happened? Libra is about taking sides. Libra is about negotiations, is about treaties, is about diplomatic sanctions or diplomatic agreements. Well, all the world for 2.5 years was focused on this Libra issue of, and the world actually split into two factions. BRICS and the Western world. The Western world, which is more the globalists, as they call them, and BRICS, which they said, like, we don't want to follow the rules of this agenda. So the world split in two, literally. In Libra also rules business, trading agreements. There was like such kind of rearrangements of alliances. So that was the hugest focus after that. And now we're coming for the next one. So what is going to be the next set of problems? And you're seeing already the war in Ukraine is almost like out of everyone's mind. But where Mars and the Sun are going to meet now in November on the 18th. And we can feel it a month before that, like we started. They're going to meet in Scorpio. And Scorpio is not as forgiving sign as Libra. Scorpio is can be one of the most devastating signs. It can be one of the most destructive signs. It's very profound as well. So Scorpio reveals truths, reveals hidden secrets, brings to the surface everything that is dirty, the dirty skeletons, the dirty laundry, as you say, of the world. All conspiracies, all anything that has been done on the closed doors, they will be a focus for the next 2 years. But Scorpio is a sign of war. Scorpio is and now we're talking that is more dangerous one. And I pray to God it doesn't escalate to something more extreme, but Scorpio is a sign of terrorism, of war, of extreme hostilities. Libra, at least there was some kind of negotiation there. They managed to piece, the balance a little bit. It didn't spread like fire. When Scorpio and the Sun and Mars join in Scorpio, the next 2.5 years can be under a lot of like extreme reactions, scorpionic power struggles in the world, rebellions, it's physical violence as well. It's likely extreme hatred, but also it will show us 2.5 years period of people doing extreme acts of heroism as well. There is the other spectrum of Scorpio, and Scorpio can be, the destructive force, but also the resurrecting force, the extremely healing force. And they're meeting at the 25th degrees in Scorpio. And that's in tropical astrology is the sign Scorpio, and in sidereal, your actual constellations. It's also the sign Scorpio. The sign Scorpio is basically, so both the constellation Scorpio and the sign Scorpio. So there is both astrologies, Western and Vedic, agree. It's in the sign of the Scorpion, near the close of the Scorpion. It's actually, in Vedic astrology, this lunar mansion, we call it, is called Vishaka. And it's the lunar mansion of power. This is one of the most powerful lunar mansions. And this lunar mansion is this lunar mansion of war as well, the warrior king. So again, these are key words, warrior king. So at the personal level, you become a warrior somewhere. And this warrior king, they describe Vishaka as the most focused and concentrated power, horse with blinkers, nothing distracts you. You can't see others' opinion like Libra now. It's like action. You straight, you charge, you don't care, you can trample others towards your goal. So collectively the energy will be like that. Governments, people, like unapologetic, kind of almost ruthless energy. My son has his moon there when he's born. Anyone who has their moon around the last degrees of tropical, from the middle of tropical Scorpio towards the later ones, they're Vishaka. Focused, concentrated, obsessive quality, which is fantastic for a person because these people can be so successful. This is the power, the lunar nakshatra of power and purpose. So whatever this conjunction is happening in your horoscope, we'll cover the 12 signs. You'd have unflinching obsession, passion, dedication to pursue something there, to wage a war against something, to overcome some issue, and you can even, there is a saying that for this lunar nakshatra, the ends justifies the means, which is not true. We have to be careful, but with this, so we have, especially in the political world and collectively, if people or rulers are acting that the end justifies the means, imagine what things can happen. Scorpio rules atomic energy as well. Scorpio rules destruction. Scorpio rules anything to do with poisoning. Scorpio rules anything to do with death, massive death as a possibility. So we'll have to be very careful. But on a personal level, again, collectively, this is dangerous energy. Collectively, it's where we have to pray. But when it comes to personal energy, often the individual can transform this energy in a very positive way. As I said, purpose, focus, indiminisable ambition. this Vishaka part of the Scorpio constellation and sign, this part of this, each sign is split into different lunar mansions. It's so purposeful, so ambitious. So you can do kind of a miracle, hero's work, uncomparable achievements of willpower in that area of your life that the Mars and the Sun activates. I'm not saying already from November, but you have 2.5 years to work on that. So we'll cover each of the 12 signs. But there is also a bit more danger because this Sun Mars conjunction is opposite, which is very powerful aspect, Uranus. And Uranus is very close to the star Algol, which is a star of revenge, a bit of a destruction. Uranus is very explosive, boom, 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 and you see what's happening already. As I said, astrological influences can start happening up to a month before. And explosions, everything, even kind of destruction. There is Scorpio rules volcanoes as well, so think about such kind of Uranus on Algol in Earth sign, even the earth shaking in a sense. Oh, I sound so apocalyptic, but Scorpio is apocalyptic sign. Here is representation of Scorpio behind me. The kids made it yesterday. So all of those things are Scorpio, which is howling, scary, spooky. But it's also the rebirth of the soul. It's the soul. It's almost like the soul is thrown into the fire of a volcano, spun there and brought out purified and clean. Pure without all the dirt is burned off of it, all the muck, all the pain, all the trauma. It's traumatic for a bit, but then it's this resurrection light like a phoenix. So this can happen in your personal life over the next 2.5 years in a certain area of your life. But because Uranus is involved, I think the events will be sudden that happen. They will be powerful. They will shake us up, and on a personal level as well. Collectively, there will be a powerful involvement because Uranus is a social planet of fast-moving trends, viral trends, and anything to do with very powerful coming together of people for a cause. So social movements of any sorts, and this will be shaky. But it's violent. I mean, Mars opposition Uranus and the Sun. The three planets are quite fiery, quite explosive, sudden as well. Things will be developing very fast. Things are speeding up for the next 2.5 years. We have a saving aspect to this conjunction of Sun and Mars, those guys. This is Neptune is making exact trine to the Sun. Mars conjunction at 25 degrees Scorpio from 25 degrees Pisces. So the trine is divine grace. Neptune is divine unconditional love, also divine grace. Pisces is, the principles that teachers like Buddha and Christ taught us. Forgiveness, love your enemy. We're all one, embrace it from a higher perspective. What will help us? God's grace to alleviate those tensions, to alleviate things getting really destructive. This darker side of Scorpio. Neptune, prayers, people coming together in collective meditations, God's divine grace. Just because God is graceful, God loves us and gives us extra chances always. Faith, knowing that there is a purpose and meaning for that. And of course, forgiveness. Forgiveness is something that is going to possibly even solve those problems. Softer approach. On a personal level, again, prayer, having faith in higher power and knowing it's taking you somewhere. So this is about this conjunction. The other thing is Saturn is turning direct. But we'll look at this individually. I wanted to look with you specifically about this combination, how it will affect the world. And what we can expect for the next 2.5 years, and because of Uranus involved on Algol, that will be very active next year as well, the energy will get very shaky. And Uranus, and by the way, Scorpio and Taurus, because they're both on the axis of this conjunction, they're financial signs. Scorpio rules the banking industry, where you put mutual finances. Scorpio rules hedge funds. Scorpio rules anything to do where many people gather their money at one place. Scorpio rules from the earth, the treasures underground. So that will be petrol, oil, anything that you dig out from underneath the ground. So these are resources underneath the ground. There can be some big focus on that in the next 2.5 years. We already have that happening with petrol and so on, but I think it might escalate because of Scorpio. There might be some battle there because of such resources, or some power stances and decisions taken because of that. Of course, Uranus is in Taurus. It's connected to the resources above the earth, food, wood, stones, all of those things. The prices basically of commodities is Taurus as well, with Uranus there. So it's a financial access, personal money, big money, oligarch money. Scorpio, Taurus is the bounties of the earth, and Taurus is the food that grows on earth. And so this is where I see the tension and the biggest changes happening. So the financial industry, the food industry as well, this access of food and finances, where the focus of willpower, energy, and having to solve problems, but of course also crisis, because Mars has this energy of crisis and something you have to battle for, something you have to put your energy like a soldier to fix, to improve. And hopefully, but it's about 2.5 year cycle. And I hope that this war that started in the Middle East, and guess what? Middle East is ruled by Scorpio as well in ancient literature. And just like less than a month before that, we see before Mars Sun conjunction there, it's escalating. I really hope it doesn't escalate further, but it seems it's again going to be like a 2 year thing happening. That starts there, and I hope it doesn't involve more of the world. That's why this Neptune maybe will be helping. All right, so that's it. Now let's look at each of the 12 signs. Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, November 2023. Virgo, the month starts with Saturn around the 3rd or 4th of November, turning direct after being retrograde for 5 months. Saturn is turning direct in your 7th house. So if you had here from you, the 7th. So if you had any issues in relationships, if relationships became more tense, more aloof, more distant, or maybe you were re-examining relationship for the past 3-4 months, 5, if you had some maybe problems in the life of your partner, if your partner has been going through some difficulties, or business partner, or testing experiences coming to you from others, or more critical people around you, people that are pushing your buttons more, that are demanding more from you, or that you've been dissatisfied with a partner in some way. When Saturn starts turning direct, you'll start feeling a release, that things are moving more better. If there was some blockage to a contract or agreement that you're trying to sign, which is also the 7th house, or if you've been blocked or you had some difficulties, if you're working with another person one-on-one and there was blockage there with the project or whatever you're working towards, well, now when Saturn starts moving direct, you'll see solving of such problems. Or if you've been in some court case that you've been stuck in, or some kind of dispute with another, or some kind of a impasse with another, blockage. When Saturn starts moving direct, you'll start seeing the resolution of those issues. This court case or things, starting moving ahead, or this contract or this agreement, or the relationship start to improve or becoming easier, or the life in your partner life, if he's been having problems, starting to untangle a little bit. And of course, 7th house is the house, if you've been working hard with someone towards a goal, mutual goal, maybe taking on more responsibility, because the retrograde phase can be not just about problems, but about working extra hard towards something. Well, now you might start seeing the results and things become a bit easier. If you've been working hard on preserving your marriage or partnership of some sort during the retrograde phase, now you can start seeing the results of that as well. Or if someone's been hard towards you, or you've been getting grief from another, again, or you've been being sad about a relationship situation or another, it can start easing off, moving forward, some problem getting solved there. All right, that's with the seventh house. So if they've been socially more stagnation, again, they're more, you can start feeling that it's becoming easier, not so constipated anymore as well. Um, then the other very big event that I want to focus on, Virgo, is the Sun Mars conjunction that is happening in your third house, and it's going to affect you for the next 2 years and a bit more. You see, 1, 2, 3. This is very powerful. So that where your focus will be, not just now in November, for the next 2.5 years, it's another social house. You kind of have to mobilize a lot of your energy and resources and power to deal with something, this third house. So for some of you, it can mean starting some project that is connected to media, starting some project that is connected to marketing, to business, and where you will be dedicating so much of your willpower, your focus, your energy for not just November, but for a couple of years ahead. Some of you, it might be a book, writing a book or something written, or making a website. Third house rules all of those things, or making a blog, or whatever it's written, spoken word information, or starting to learn some kind of training, some skill, but which requires a lot of willpower and which you never had the courage to have before. Now you're going to have it. The Sun-Mars conjunction is the conjunction of the warrior in the constellation of the warrior and the victorious warrior, that Vishaka. It's an arc of triumphant arc, that the symbol of this part of the sky that was given to it by the ancients, where the Mars and Sun conjunction will happen, and where people almost gets like so much willpower there and purpose and obsessive focus that they always come back triumphant as a warrior after war. So you're gonna win that battle there, whatever it is. But that battle, it might take a couple of years, but it might be learning a language. It might be something that for everyone it will be different. But someone might be learning to play an instrument, or learning to drive, or it might be for another, learning to do a brand new business, brand new skill, brand new training that learning some skill that you didn't have the courage to, and you might be forced into it, or out of crisis you have to take it, or it might happen that because you have really strong passion that appears for you, but some new skill is not coming, you're working very hard on it. So you might take on signing for some course or studies or something like that, which is, I think it might be the right way to channel those energies correctly, because there might be a negative side of them as well, because some of it might manifest by power struggles and fighting with others more, with siblings, with relatives, fighting with those that are workmates, teammates, schoolmates, if you have friends around you, with neighbors. I hope you don't start some war, because it's a very warrior conjunction, like I said, where it's like no one backs off. There is no negotiation. There is no it's like till the end. And that, I'm hoping, but there might be possibility, if you notice this, it might be about a 2-year process with such kind of third house people, classmates, workmates, neighbors, siblings, relatives, mates of any sort. But also, you remember that Neptune is making a trine to the Sun-Mars conjunction, so it means you have access to the energy of Neptune for the next 2 years as well, to solve it by Neptune, maybe by a middleman, Neptune in the 7th house, someone that helps you achieve the peace, or by forgiveness. This is Neptune, by being kinder, kind of forgiving, prayer, and so on. But also it can indicate that you are starting some new project with another third house. Third house is with associates and a team of some sort. There can be more competitiveness there and clashing of egos if you're working in a team to achieve something, or with associates. But you might be doing some project that is very important for the next 2 years. And again, that requires the mobilization of the forces of all your intellectual and skill forces, and those of teammates or other people. But again, because of the more explosive nature of the planets and signs involved, there can be a power struggle there. But again, you can achieve something really great that you couldn't achieve on your own, and that you couldn't do before. And this is the house of courage. When Sun and Mars meet in the most powerful sign, Scorpio, what kind of courage does it talk? And it's the house of self-made wealth. That's why it's house of business, where you use your skills to create your wealth. It's not inherited. It's not you use all your intelligence and skills. So if you haven't had the courage to do that, now this 2 years is might be what you're forging and working towards and putting your warrior spirit towards. Or you might be, because remember it's a warrior combination. Third house is words and communications. You might be some kind of a, on some kind of a crusade about exposing scorpionic truths to the world and delivering such information. You might be asked to learn to speak up your truth, and because that's Mars Sun is about communicating in a direct way, in a way that is not beating around the bush. And you already have this ability, Virgos. You have Scorpio in the third house, but now it's strongly activated. You might be asked to do some battle where with your words or with your knowledge or with your skills, you're fighting for some cause, or you're fighting against some atrocity, or fighting against something unfairness, or using your words or intelligence for some battle. I hope it's not just like you fighting with others online. It might be a theme for the next 2 years as well, whether you wanted to know, feeling attacked by others online, or not just online, in their everyday life, that you see this escalation. But it's about teaching you to affirm yourself in conversationally, to be more initiative as well. And you might be even put in a position of some kind of a leadership position in a small group environment as well. That's another positive possibility. Let me mention it. But Sun-Mars conjunction in the third house there can be verbal fights or something, but it also can be about forging mastery of your words, and forging that you ask over the next 2 years to be very active on writing, on speaking, on media, on business or commercial activities of any sort, to mobilize all your forces and willpower in such direction, or something educational. Third house also rules that. And there might be some focus on traveling, that you're putting a lot of energy towards traveling, that is being activated for not just in November, but for a while after that. So these are some of the most important themes of the third house. Vehicles, traveling, short trips. Of course, there might be things with crisis, like with the car breaking down, crisis in relationships with those third house people, crisis in your communication, connectivity, your journey trips type of thing. But you're like an indomitable warrior, fearless warrior, and you go and solve all those problems. Or you might be some kind of a crisis communicator in some area about, or your mind might be a lot focused on such kind of topics, talking about them, more scorpionic, and being like a spokesperson for such themes, whether it's abuse of power, something hidden, something very private, something transformational, or maybe learning something scorpionic, like occult, astrology, and so on. There are many ways it can manifest. I'm trying to show you the worst and the best, and just to be aware. I'm sure you're not going to remember it, but you can come back to this video years later and try and, see what the purpose of this is. But it's very important for you that the Sun-Mars conjunction is trying to teach you to speak your, not to allow your voice to be drowned, not to speak out what you need, to speak out what you see as important. And you might be pushed into it by some more extreme circumstances, or by the inner impulse to develop your own voice, to find your own voice, to find the power of your words. And you might play some important role where with words you impact people in the next 2 years. And then just for this month, something that is active is Venus in your second house, especially after the 10th. You'd notice it till the end of the month, trying to spend money, Venus, on beautiful things, maybe for presents. You'll find good deals. You'll find really, when Venus transits the second house, with possessions, valuables, you really tend to find the really nice things to buy as clothes, as anything valuable, and good deals and fair deals as well. So to lighten up the energy, you can do that. Venus in the second house is good and refined meals, all the 5 senses where you get to get more enjoyment from. and even spending some time with family and loved ones. That can also be rewarding. And focusing on the five senses the last 20 days, even making a bit more money when Venus transits the second house, at least for me, from the ascendant, always there is more money around. They come and go, but it's easier access to it, easier access to better materials, to better resources. So if you want to buy something nice, now is the time. Thank you so much, and do check out my 2024 video horoscopes where I speak 2.5 hours for each sign. I've sold more, maybe 20,000 of those already. People love them. They're chock full of information. Check them out, and they're 30% discounted till November 17th. I'm putting a link below. Or if you want to know day by day next year what events will be happening collectively for the world, each transit, when planets become visible and invisible, what it means, not just when it's going to happen, what it means specifically for next year. Every year I write this 130 pages calendar specifically for you, specifically for the next year. So it serves you as a guide to plan your year. Thank you.